process, all 4 trims in one video. This is the story of 6961, and she has got a white line lesion that's got some complications to it. So we're gonna work all the way through that and give you guys the entire healing process from very first day 1 to 6 weeks later, completely healed. So the story with this girl, I first got her in the shoot about 2 months ago, roughly, in March, and she was heavily favoring this left front foot. Now, you might look at this right now and say, I don't see a lot going on here, but there's a crack in that white line. There's a fairly substantial lesion underneath with some complications. We'll talk about that as we uncover it and as we go along through this video, through this healing process. Here you can get a good close-up of the defect in the sole as well as that defect in the white line, and this is the area I'm going to start to uncover that lesion. When you see exudate, you know that you've got an infection associated with this lesion. So I knew that this would be a perfect cow to do this type of video with, because I knew this is not a type of lesion where you're going to be able to treat her one time and it's just going to magically start to heal again. With this type of lesion, you're going to have an extended period of time before that corium is going to be able to begin to produce quality horn again. So during that time, you have to keep up on this and make sure that no other bacteria invade that lesion and cause problems in the meantime. Here you can see I've got some of that taken away, but there's still some more horn there that I need to remove, and that lesion's much larger underneath there. So I've got to get that taken away and get this area cleaned up. It's going to help slough off some of that poorer quality tissue, and that's going to allow that new corium underneath to begin to develop and to heal, so we can begin to get new quality horn on this foot. So we're going to get this foot down and we'll show you how she's walking. She's a little uncomfortable at this point. Early on after this first trim, obviously when you look at that lesion, you can see why, but we're going to move ahead now 2 weeks and we're going to take a look at this foot and see how she's progressed. You notice right off the bat that the color of that lesion is much better. We've got much better looking tissue there now. It has shrunk in size by almost half, and we got some that we're going to remove, and once again it's going to be much the same as that first one, the first trim. We're going to remove this loose horn from all the way around that lesion once again, and then we're going to clean it up really well. We're going to treat it once again with salicylic acid, wrap it, and let her go. You notice her gait has improved drastically since that first initial trim, and see how this lesion's looking. It up, and you can see how it's working its way in and closing off that lesion. So what we're going to do now, just like those last 2 trims, we're going to remove this loose horn from around it, treat with salicylic acid. Salicylic acid does a couple of different things. First off, it's going to kill any of the bacteria that are around that lesion that may impede its healing. Second thing it's going to do is it's going to help slough off any tissue that may not be of the highest quality, may not be beneficial to be there. It's going to help slough that off. And the third thing it's going to do is help relieve pain. So all of these things work in our advantage. When it comes to loose horn, that's a natural part of this healing process. The easiest way to try to explain it would be similar to us getting a sunburn, right? You might get a sunburn, your skin starts to peel. You might peel some of that off, and a couple days later there's more skin peeling off. Anytime you have damage to those areas, it's natural for that area to kind of lift away, and that's what's happening with this hoof around these lesions, that the margins of that damage will kind of lift away to try to provide relief to that lesion in a natural sort of fashion. So what we're doing is just helping in that and removing that, what could be potential hazards to that lesion. So we're gonna get this area cleaned up, get salicylic acid on it, let her go, and you're gonna see now she has very little, she favors this foot very little whatsoever anymore. So, but we're not done yet. We need to get that lesion completely healed, and we're gonna do that. All right, are you guys getting sick of this foot yet? Here we go. 2 weeks later, 6 weeks since that initial trim. Let's get this foot cleaned up and take a look. Now, I wouldn't fuss with this foot too much at this point. I can see that that lesion is completely healed. There's going to be very minimal loose horn here to deal with. Because this foot is now healed all the way out, and I've got good sole depth on that, where that initial lesion site was, I'm going to be able to remove that block. I've gotten a ton of questions about how I remove blocks if I need to, so I'm going to show you that in this video, and then we're going to get her out, and she'll be gone. 6 weeks, bad lesion to perfectly healed. I couldn't be happier with how this one turned out. So the way I remove these blocks is I've got a thin piece of flat, real stiff steel, and I kind of work that behind the blocks in different places and kind of get it to crack away slowly, and then I pry that off of there. I don't use a lot of force. If the block is really stuck on there and I can't get any leverage whatsoever to pop that off, I'll just take my grinder and buzz that block off with the carbides on my cutting wheel. But they usually pop off pretty decent, especially ones that have been on like this. This one's been on 6 weeks, so it's they usually did. So I'm just gonna buzz this foot up, get it nice and trimmed up, and send her on her way. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching.